Welcome, everybody. My name is Sean Moffat. I'm founder of the Gray Swan Guild, and really proud to actually introduce our town hall for September, October, and I guess a bit of November now, Atlanta, Georgia. And I'll just pop up a quick presentation here, and hopefully this will function as a little bit of a portal into why we want people from Atlanta and Georgia inside our global guild. We do these every month. And so this is, I believe, our 28th version of this. We'll be doing Rome and Milan next month. But essentially, our guild is trying to build a collective of the best leaders, builders, futurists, sense makers, thinkers, change agents, experts, and a litany of other people that like to go deeper than the superficial and try to make better sense of the world. That's essentially what we're trying to do. Usually in these forums, I'm joined by my co-founder of the Gray Swan Guild, Rob Tyree, who is traveling this week. Myself, I'm both co-founder of the Gray Swan Guild. I manage an innovation and business model consultancy / hatchery in my spare time. And you can reach me at the following coordinates as shown here. You can reach Rob as well at the other coordinates. These town halls every month, we do a recorded version and we do a live version, and hopefully they function as a way for members to get to know us, get to know each other from themselves locally, get them to think a little bit outside of their box, and hopefully give them forums and kind of windows for being able to participate with our guild. I know this message will go out to hundreds of people from Georgia and Atlanta. I've teased through things. Certainly I've seen there's a study that had Atlanta the 50th best city in the world. I saw another one that said it was 65th in quality of life, 65th in the world's best city. It is #1 for being a creative person in the US, which I actually found surprising, but maybe I shouldn't. Hopefully people will tell me otherwise. It is number 15 for connection, number 24 for global 500 companies, and infrastructure. It got really high marks too, number 14. Those are the cold, hard stats. I would love to know what makes Atlanta and Georgia so special for the people that are there. So as I send this out to people, hopefully you'll be able to get back to us. Maybe we'll build a collection of what are the best restaurants, events, different kind of attractions that make Atlanta and Georgia so special. We're going to do this in the recorded version, so we're going to just briefly go over a whole bunch of these things that make Atlanta our 28th town hall, and just tell you a little bit about what we tend to do in these live versions, tell you a little bit about the guild, tell you what's next, and give you opportunities to participate. Gray Swan Guild, I love two characterizations that people have given us. We didn't come up with them. We are a 5th place. So beyond your home, which is kind of your first place, and work, which is your 2nd place, you have these two other things called the 3rd and 4th places. This is your local neighborhood and your industry and peers. But sometimes you just want to get out of all 4 of those boxes and actually interact with a group of global people around the world that may not think exactly like you do, but certainly like to go deeper than the superficial, and probably are more well-read, maybe more savvy about world topics, and certainly want to build their craft. And so we've got a manifesto here. Essentially, it leads to the notion that we've built a guild over the last 4 years that thinks and does as a tank of sorts. If you'd like to join us, please, we'd love you to join our collective as well. From an Atlanta perspective, my hope is we're able to build about 50 people that might want to come into our fold, and hopefully have 2 or 3 people that really step up and play the role of city captains. The notion of doing live physical events has come into at least our vision. This is post-COVID, and we think that it's definitely within the realm of opportunity that we do some type of global tour next year, and we'd love Atlanta to be involved in that as well. One guild ritual that we do is to surface good news before we do anything, because sometimes there's such a shortage of it in the world. And I know Elon Musk, I've seen his valuation on Twitter go down from something like 44 billion to 17 billion announced today. But I thought this was a good one. Certainly it links with battery and EV cars. He's thinking about bringing back the first drive-in movie theater to LA in, I don't know, 60 or 70 years as part of a backdrop to Tesla's new supercharging station. So I just thought this was a hugely interesting idea. I'm not too sure how they get rid of the lights of LA, but I'm sure they can figure that out somehow. I just thought, wow, you know what? He gets a lot of dings and bruises, but I thought this might be a good way of a 1 + 1 = 3. So in the recorded version of these that we do every month, we usually ask for the people's name, what their talent is, and what their aspiration is for whatever window of time coming up. And so beyond that, we try to do 3 W's and 1 H, the why of our guild. And this has not changed since the start. We make better sense of the world, biggest challenges, and next gray swan. So there's almost a current kind of point in time, and there's a future point in time where we're trying to look around the corner and see what's next. This is what we do at its very basic essence of the guild. The how, and we put more than just lip service into these. We've not had to act, thankfully, in terms of an intervention on these, but we tend to attract people that love 4 things. People that love to be collaborative, we do things together. People that are purposeful and care about both the world, where it's going, our crafts and disciplines or professional disciplines, and hopefully do it with a sense of evidence as opposed to just let's dream up some utopia. They're curious. They tend to be well read. They are always looking around across disciplines to see what's going on, and they're aspirational. Looking at something and saying, why has nobody done this before, is more the opportunity for us than it is the handicap or hurdle. So those are our 4 values. We do have 50 shades of gray, pun intended, in terms of the people that love to join what we do. This is profiled on our 50 Shades of GSG page. We think there's a broad spectrum of people that are interested in making sense of the world, and here they are, or at least 18 of them. And then people always go, wow, there seems to be a lot going on. Like sometimes it leads to a bit of confusion as people come in. We'll try to set the record straight. We do 6 things. We think we do it in a caliber that's a little bit notch above other folks. We do content and publications and media. We do events and experiences. We do intelligence and foresight. We do experiments and ventures. We have built a global community of about 10,000 people around the world, and they function as a network. More news to follow on that. And then we also are into learning and craft building and trying to make our members the best they possibly be in their professions and real life. So going a little bit deeper in terms of content and publications, and it really breaks out 3 different ways. We do long form content. We've written probably over at least 100+ articles every year. We have a burgeoning podcast network that we're building, and we've written a book through our Cygnus publishing arm. Our first book out of the gate was called Uncertainty. It was an amazing exercise of bringing 30 authors that were members of the guild together. We are actively looking at doing our second one. So across all of those things, look at the beehive of activity, 200 articles, multiple reports each year. We're planning for about at least 6 in 2024, 50 podcast episodes, and certainly 1, perhaps 2 books getting out each year. So we do a lot of events. This is kind of a staple of ours over the last 4 years, and it really leans to 3 marquee events. We do something in the spring on the anniversary of both our guild and the pandemic that birthed us. It's called the Day of the Swan, where we get into sense making and complexity and deeper understanding of things from a systems perspective, from a wayfinding perspective, and other different reasons. In September, we do something called the 1,000-Day Radar, which is more of the futures and foresights and trends and what's next. And so we stoke that kind of gene inside of us. And then finally, toward the end of the year, we do something called the GSG Book Festival, where we bring together relevant authors And as mentioned, we do a tour de sense of the smartest books and authors. And so you can look for all of those types at our grayswanguild.org event types website. We also do 4 other types of events: premieres, general assemblies, and ateliers and salons. They all have their functions. Premieres surface new intelligence. General assemblies are really the top 200 to 300 people inside the guild, and we pass motions and vote on things. We have ateliers where they are interactive workshops between our members. And we have salons where truly the whole function of it is to converse about something that is happening in real time and kind of express our views and kind of connect with people around the world. So very active in that sense. I'm so happy we've just landed on what the next 2 years of our intelligence and foresights work is going to look like. We are planning on doing 3 annual intelligence weather vanes every year. The next one comes out this month in it's called Uncertainty. But as you can see, there are 6 really interesting topics that follow. And we're looking at doing an annual bank of things that are driving the world called the Forces Bank. And so look forward to that. We'd love to get you involved in that if you're interested in going deeper than just the regular general person. And then finally, we have a lot of futurists, a lot of strategic foresighters in the guild. And so we have landed on what the next 6 or 7 foresight studies are going to look like. The first one will be called the Bioscene Report. Next one will be on different realities as we look deeply into technology and media. Future of cities, future of multi-realities, consumer futures, futures of a decentralized finance and money and sustainability scenarios. So that really does run the gamut of all of the different interests that we might have. We're big into training and learning. We're doing more of it now than we did at the start of the guild. We think it's important to know not necessarily just about the what of what's happening in the world, but also how to make sense of it. If we can actually make our members better at doing that, we'll have done a good job. And so at least 15 different intersections we'll have each year, 3 deep learning curricular courses that we're just establishing right now, and 12 monthly craft building open forums that go deeper on particular relevant subject matter topics by building panels of people that really know their stuff. So once a month, we do one of those. Last couple things, we do experiments and ventures. Halfway through our guild's tenure, people said, look, this is all great. We're doing all this stuff, but I'd really love to be part of something that builds something of sustainable value. And so as you can see here, we have 11 different ventures going on. I won't speak to all of them, but certainly some are in motion, some are in development. And they've all been voted on by our members. So the great thing about us, we're not only collaborative in terms of doing, we're collaborative in terms of planning and making sure that they address the wills and the needs of the members around us. And then finally, we're close to about 10,000 members now, and they have a wide variety of interests. As you can see here, here are the top 10 interests: trends, leadership, technology, the workplace, and sustainability are the highest, but certainly not the only things that people are interested in. And I love some of the quotable quotes when you actually receive those without people speaking directly to you. I'll just mention one here. This is not just a think group. You can feel the energy to want to do things, to ship product. And I think that's true. And in 2024, we're looking at doing something called the Platinum Swan Network. So depending on your interest, we can stoke as many as 30 different ambitions in terms of participating in what I'll charitably call our Swanhood. There are different either core functions of our guild or different ventures that we have on the go that shall stoke most of the people that might be interested in ever considering joining us or curious about it. So if people from Atlanta, I know you're interested in some of these things on here. Please, be called to the altar here and hopefully join us in terms of building some great stuff together. We usually in our group sessions look at different global issues, try to get people outside of their cities and to think about, here are 15 of the biggest global issues that we think. Sometimes people go off the board. Some people mention a couple of different ones, but it's really interesting to get people's zeitgeist in terms of where their headspace is and where they're spending some of their either core business time or free time. And then as well, we oftentimes try to do stuff that's local. I'm constantly educated by this in these forums. And usually there's about 3 or 4 different rotating ones. In this one, we looking at global business and how do you burnish a better reputation for Atlanta and Georgia around the world. Not that it's a bad one, as mentioned earlier, but certainly, you get a group of professionals around. There's some really good collisions in terms of what could be done. Here's some concepts that we've been playing with. Certainly, we, once again, being collaborative by nature, we act on the will of the guild. Last year, we had 4 different things voted on. And it turns out that having a thought leader / speakers bureau network was really important. So we're actively looking at how to pull that off and doing it in a different way than other speakers bureaus. We have an enormously deep and large group of talent here. Some of them are very good in communication circles. And so we're trying to get to how do we make sure our members benefit? How do we allow clients or prospective clients to actually engage with us in ways that might be different than other speakers bureaus? And also, how do you make sure that you're just not being kind of a middleman between, the actual speaker and the client that may want to hire them, be that an association or client? How do we actually build some value in that whole exchange? So we're acting on that. Here are the 3 other things that were voted on. Still strong. They may show up in future years, but this was the one thing that we were chasing. And so, the get involved now, the gin, if you will, of what's going on right now in the guild that we'd love Atlanta and Georgians to look at joining us. We do have a multidisciplinary craft building series. So it's our 60-second version or episode of this. And we love to go deep for about an hour and a half, hour, 15 minutes on different topics. We've got our host pulling together their panel for this. And join us on our LinkedIn November 14th at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and we will go through this topic, which is a real hot button for me. We have the uncertainty weather vane. My hope is people can still chime in on it. I've kept the survey open an extra couple days. We are turning this into what I would characterize as certainly the biggest effort and intelligence study that I've seen on uncertainty as a concept. And hopefully it's one of the best given how much effort we put into it. There's a book, there's a podcast, there's an article catalog, and just an entire arsenal of methods that go along with this intelligence report. So please go to the bit.ly uncertainty weather vane and join us in kind of surfacing different perspectives on uncertainty. We've got a podcast network of 9 different channels that we're launching over the next 9 months. We'd love you to be involved in that as well, whether behind the mic or in front of the mic. There are things like uncertainty that's already in motion, but we have really strong ambitions for making sure that we stoke all of our other interests through the audio channels that are there. And then finally, pet project of mine, it's called the Compass and Compendium. We're calling it the Rosetta Stone for making sense of the world. Our objective is by sometime in 2024 to inventory, to guide folks in terms of 750 various frameworks and methods from different disciplines that either generate better knowledge or get to better decisions. It's really exciting. It's completely pioneering in terms of its approach. We hope to involve AI in terms of learning as we go, as people respond and play with the platform. So if you're interested at all in joining us for this venture, we're looking at 15 different disciplines and trying to get the benefit of both the generalists that are pulling all this stuff together across disciplines and the people that are really hardcore specialists that can probably give us a lot of information within the discipline. So those are 4 things that are going on. We do these town halls every month. This is, even though it's November 1st, it's really the September-October town hall for Atlanta, Savannah, Georgia. We're looking at doing Italy, Japan, and New York for our next 3. So hopefully if you know people from there, please send them on. A little bit of a message as we send you away. Do more than belong, participate. Do more than care, help. Do more than believe, practice. Do more than be fair, be kind. Do more than forgive, forget. And do more than dream, work. It's a little bit of a quip by William Arthur Ward, and we think it describes a lot of people that join us in the guild quite well. So Atlanta, our Global Guild is calling you. Please step up. And if I broaden the circle just a little bit further, Georgia, love parts of Georgia. Big fan of the Masters. So obviously I love it almost, Georgia for me in April represents spring, particularly for me in Canada that has slightly worse temperatures. It just makes me all jealous of people in Georgia and want to get outside a little bit more. I've got 3 things to recap for this month's town hall. Guilds are back. We think we are the postmodern version of the guild that is investing in people's craft, is building a 5th place for people that allows people to escape and learn new things, and hopefully building a global collective where we can all collaborate together for impact. The second core message is we think and do deeply. There is a complete web of activities going on, and we need great people to fuel this work, whether it's events or ventures or podcasts or reports or a host of different things. We have 30 plus ways for you to get involved. Hopefully you can find the right one for you. And we want you, Atlanta. We want you to engage, to participate, to join as members. But as well, we'd love for 2 to 3 people to identify themselves as city captains. And so my hope is someone out there might be interested in being a rallying force for the local region. We call this the 7 steps to Guild Heaven. You know, people are trepidatious sometimes to begin with. And so we say, look, you know, take a while, look at stuff. Look at us on our website and our social media, different extensions. If you want to go deeper on some of our content, some of our best content and most traffic content we've posted on Medium, please go there. If you want to connect and see who else is joining us, attend an event. I mentioned a couple of them that are happening this month. If you want to respond to some of our intelligence work, please respond to one of the weather vanes, and we've posted one there on uncertainty. And then there's 3 kind of core directions you can go upon wanting to get a little bit further into the guild. You can join as a deeper member, and you'll always be profiled based on whatever you put in there, and we'll identify different interests that might be pertinent to you. Join as a global sense maker. You know, if you like to go deeper than superficial, if you're a researcher at heart, if you're curious by nature, please join us as a global sense maker. That's where those people go, and there's about 350 to 400 of those people now. And then finally, if you want to build one of the 11 ventures that we had mentioned about earlier, just really wanting to get out there and build something of consequence, impact, and value, join us at our Cygnus Ventures group, and we'll sure to get you involved. And then when all else fails, just send us a message at info@grayswanguild.org. Myself or Rob will be happy to get back to you and describe whatever idea that you might want to collaborate on, any questions that you might have, or any thoughts in terms of how to make what we're doing at the Gray Swan Guild better. So I just like to kind of stop there in terms of just describing what we do. As mentioned, we are looking at building a global collective comprised of some of the best people in cities around the world. We'd love it if some people from the great state of Georgia and, you know, certainly one of the corporate hubs of southeastern U.S. might want to join our global collective. I'm sure we will benefit by the wisdom. So once again, this is Sean Moffat, founder of the Gray Swan Guild. Love all of the new people that join us every month, including this month, Atlanta and Georgia. And hopefully it's in the prospect of making better sense of the world and next Gray Swans. Thanks very much for joining, and look forward to seeing you in the future.